And so finally, I wanted to look at some gender inequality, why all this matters, why the differences between men and women matter so much, and whether or not they're learned or biological. Is if they're learned, it's something we can change, because gender inequality does still exist. We are a patriarchy, meaning a society headed by men. Particularly by fathers. So if you want to look at your genealogy, you want to look at your ancestors, you're going to have to go to the library, and you're going to see when you start looking through the records that everything is tracked through the males. Our society is dominated by men. We've still yet to have a female president, for instance. That could change this year. I don't know. But we historically have been a society headed by men. And so that leaves women kind of out in the cold. This leads to things like sex typing of work, where there are men jobs and there are women jobs. You know, men jobs are things like being a CEO or an executive of a company, or being a construction worker, or these other kind of tending to be higher paid, skilled jobs. Whereas the jobs that are associated with women are things like secretarial or administrative work, like the lady here in the bottom. Or things like being a nurse or being a high school teacher or an elementary school teacher particularly. Those jobs tend to be lower paying and lower status than the ones that are associated with being male. That's what we mean by sex typing of work. They also lead to an inequality in income. It was during the women's movement in the late 70s that was a big to-do that women only made 77 cents for every dollar that a man makes in our society. And so this study was redone to see how far have we come in the last 30 years. And so in 2006, there was another survey done of men versus women in the American workforce. And guess what? It's exactly the same. Women still make 77 cents for every dollar that a man makes. So there is gender inequality in income as well, and in education. This is lessening, particularly at the high school and bachelor's degree level in colleges. Women are earning as many bachelor's degrees as men, but they're not earning them in math and science and business-related fields that will allow them to move up in companies as quickly as men do. They also are not earning graduate degrees, particularly in math and science, nearly at the same rate as men, which tends to keep them in the same sorts of jobs that are not paying as well. So this is another way that we have inequality. And then finally in politics, as I said, we still haven't had a female president. And even though there are many women in Congress, it's nowhere near the 50-50 split that it should be to be truly representative. There's 15% approximately of Congress at this point is female. That leaves 85% male. The population is less than 50% male. So we haven't achieved equality of power at all for men and women. And all of this is important because if these differences are not biological, that cause this inequality in pay and inequality in work, then that means that it's something societally that can be changed. It's something that we can move towards progress of not having so much gender inequality. So that's a short lesson this week, and I encourage you to read for more information in your textbook. Thank you.